Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everybody. I'm Evan James, and also known as EvanJamesWx. Today, I'm going to be releasing my 2022 preliminary hurricane season forecast, which there will be many. I believe the next one's going to be the beginning of April. So if you go on to enjoy this video and want to stay tuned to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and check out my Hurricane Ida intercept that is on my channel as well. If that is something that you're interested in, well, you clicked on a hurricane forecast, so maybe not. Who knows? All right, if you go on and enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you never miss next time I upload. And without further ado, let's get into things. So we're going to go ahead and get started and just take a look at the overall sea surface temperatures of the Nino 3.4 index. And currently, as you guys can see, as we kind of transcended into January, that is when we hit that moderate strength La Nina, give or take. And then ever since then, as you guys can see right here on the chart, we've kind of risen here to where we are at our current point, which is around that 0.5 degree, of course, in the negative. So that is still a La Nina according to this temperature chart. If we take a look at a couple other factors here, just like our standard sea surface temperature anomalies, but kind of here put on a map for you guys so you guys can just see everything here. The general Eastern Pacific is still in a La Nina-like state. One thing you will notice is that these surface temperatures here off the coast of Mexico and Central America are starting to kind of warm up here. And what this is indicative of is over time, we are going to transition into some sort of a ENSO neutral phase as we get into June. The big question is when, because even if we are in a ENSO neutral phase, La Nina-like conditions could still be occurring in the Atlantic due to the months and months of pattern lagging that we may experience even through October, maybe getting into early November. So that is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on here as we go on through the next several months. And taking a look at the Southern Oscillation Index, which is basically a measurement in pressure between Darwin and I believe Tahiti. So this is basically the oscillation and pressure differences. And so a positive SOI value would resemble something of a La Nina-like pattern. A negative SOI value would resemble something as of a El Nino pattern, which tends to make the Atlantic more suppressed. We are not seeing that right now, even though we are seeing an increase of temperature here on the Nino 3.4 index here. We are having a rising SOI, which could be contributing to that pattern lag that I was talking about. So even though our temperatures are warming towards a neutral, we're still dealing with a La Nina-like pattern, and I think that's what's going to happen through the heart of the hurricane season. Alrighty, so now that we looked over the current state of the ENSO region and also looked at the Southern Oscillation Index, we are now going to kind of just go over my generalized forecast for now. There's going to be more methodology in the future. We're going to get the UK Met and European model information on the MDR as we get into parts of April. So as we go on towards the start of hurricane season, the puzzle will be better put together on what we're going to be dealing with. So without further ado, let's begin. So, the current forecast indicates that the northern Atlantic hurricane activity will be nearly above the 1991 to 2020 30-year norm level. Noting the past 2 years that have contained a La Nina event, this forecast still carries some uncertainty. Because keep in mind, we have never had a 3-year continuous La Nina phenomenon, which means this year is up for grabs, and I'm going to better explain that as I get into my methodology here. So this extended range forecast for the North Atlantic hurricane season activity in 2022 anticipates a season with activity nearly above the 30-year normal level, as I said in the beginning. This forecast covers the time frame from June 1st through November 30th. This forecast acknowledges that 2020 and 2021 were about moderate La Nina years and that it is rare to have 3 successive. So going back on my word there, I don't know if we've had 3 in a row, but I highly doubt it. And so that this forecast basically acknowledges that rarity of that occurring. The forecast is based largely on the observed hurricane activity that occurred in 4 years. So these are my analog years here: 2001, 2004, 2012, and 2017. That immediately followed weak La Nina and cold ENSO neutral events. So that is what I'm going off of here, and this is my reasoning and methodology for this forecast. Just for now, things are going to change. Puzzle pieces will be put together as we get more towards June. So here is our running 3-month mean oceanic Nino index values, which basically kind of gives us was it a El Nino, was it a La Nina, was it a neutral? This is my explanation here. So the 2000 to 2001 year was a La Nina year, kind of like this one, kind of the same strength during the season of 2021 to 2022. And the outcome was 15 named storms, 8 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. For 2001 to 2002, this was kind of a Cole Enzo neutral phase, still very much a Enzo neutral phase, but this is what's interesting. We've had the same amount of named storms in the 2001 season, but we actually had more hurricanes and more major hurricanes than 2000. So in a year where we had an Enzo neutral phase, it produced more hurricanes and it produced an extra major hurricane than the year that had the La Nina. And so this is what's interesting here. As we go on down towards 2003 to 2004, it was about an Enzo neutral phase, and that's what it kind of was as we got towards December and kind of that realm. The outcome was 16 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. So about an average year for the 1991 to 2020 30-year norm level. As we get on into 2004 to 2005, this was actually an El Nino. And you want to know what happened during that El Nino year? 15 named storms, all right? One less than that the year previous. But 9 hurricanes and 6 major hurricanes. So not only do we get 2 extra hurricanes, we got 3 extra major hurricanes. And we all know 2004 needs to be an analog for this year, just for that certain reason. So as we go on to 2011, which was a very, very extreme tornado season, just something kind of put in the air. For the 2011 to 2012 season, it was a pretty strong La Nina. 19 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes, so obviously a kind of above average year. The year following it was a kind of a warm, neutral, just hanging around that neutral phase, but it produced 19 named storms. All right, you're saying same as last year, right? What's wrong about that? 3 extra hurricanes, regardless of the phase itself, and that is proving that the pattern lags beyond the phenomenon that it transitions into. And there wasn't as many major hurricanes. There was only 2 compared to the previous year, which had 4. But just something to look at, that it produced extra hurricanes regardless of major intensity. We all know that Category 1 and Category 2 hurricanes can still produce phenomenal rainfall and some pretty bad storm surge if at the right place and the right time. So as we go on down to 2016 and 2017 here, just to kind of prove my point more, La Nina year, right? About the same levels we were in November, December. 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 4 major. About average. For 2017 to 2018, though, the year after it transitioned into kind of a Cole Enzo neutral phase, 17 named storms, 10 hurricanes, and 6 major. 3 extra hurricanes than the year previous, 2 extra major hurricanes than the year previous, and 3 more named storms than the year previous, regardless of the phase that was occurring. So even if we end up in a Enzo neutral phase, we're still looking at a very, very above active hurricane season if all things come into play, regardless if it's a warm neutral, a weak El Nino, a weak La Nina, whatever happens. This is proof right here, if patterns follow the analog years, that we could be dealing with a potentially dangerous hurricane season, especially by the time we get to that point. If we find out the NAO is in a positive or a negative phase and it is fighting the opposite of the PNA, we're going to be dealing with a very, very strong Atlantic ridge that could cause less fish storms and cause more storms to be steered. So that ends up being more landfalls and potentially more major hurricane landfalls than last year itself. Because we all know towards the end of the year, the ridging kind of, broke up, and Sam, Larry, all those storms went out to sea. Now imagine how big the season would have been in a difference if that ridge was stronger and more storms kind of collided with the coast or, made landfall. And so we get down to my final point here. The 2021 to 2022 hurricane season, they're right there, La Nina phase. My projected kind of temperature here, since I really don't know that much, I'm projecting that is going to stay absolutely neutral, all right? And given off of that, as I head down into my forecast graphic here, so given off of everything that I've looked at the past years, I've looked at kind of the overall pattern on what the CFS is telling me, what the CANSIPS is telling me, just the overall precipitation anomalies, the ridging, everything in place here. This has the potential, in my own opinion, for 18 named storms, 8 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes. The average is 14 named storms as of the 1991 to 2023 norm level, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major. So, you compare that to last year, 21 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 4 major. I think this year there might be a slight difference in frequency, but I do think since conditions will still be able, I do believe we are going to have more hurricanes and possibly even more major hurricanes than last year. And kind of not as active at all as 2020, but this year still has the potential to be as dangerous as 2020, if that makes any sense whatsoever. My projected rounded ACE index is near about 130. That's what I believe we're going to be looking at this year. And this is a graphic here kind of demonstrating the chances. So given off the ACE index of my forecast, which is around 130, this forecast has nearly a 50-50 shot to underperform or overperform, and that is exactly why we need to make it through this spring forecast barrier before we know more. This is just a rounded guess. This is nothing set in stone. We're going to have to wait through about March, April, and about May to know for sure, or at least have a great idea on what's going on. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed. I tried to go in detail as much as possible, try to cover all the bases whatsoever. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss one of these when I upload one of these next. Or even just a hurricane research forecast video in general. Maybe even severe weather events if I decide to cover those. I will be chasing those too, so clips will be uploaded as well. Everybody have a great day, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy, take care, bye-bye.